Grave Reviews, this is Chris.
Have you tracked the children?
There's no children here. It's not safe for them.
This is Alan, and Chris is right. Grave Reviews is intended for mature audiences. Your discretion is advised. Grave Reviews presents Thursday Night Frights.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Grave Reviews. I am your host, Alan, and sitting next to me virtually from across the country, a few states away, my co-host, Chris. How are you, sir?
What's up? What's up? I'm here, ready to talk about a movie.
A good one this week. Not perfect by any means, but still yet a good movie. I'm really looking forward to getting your points of view and your opinion on this, and finding out what you thought about Late Night with the Devil. I've seen this one before getting ready for the show, just for entertainment purposes. I've seen this one 3 times. Loved it. Again, not happy with all of it, but this was one I got to introduce some friends of mine to. And yeah, what a fun show. What a fun show.
Yeah,
So,
especially it was available right away to stream, and it was well planned out, very unique in a twist in genres of
yep.
the twist on a found footage, only of a real live broadcast.
I don't normally care for found footage movies. I did like the way this one was shot, because it, told you at the beginning that it was footage that was found from the taping. So you were actually seeing it from the camera's point of view. Really, really nice and good time. Hello, Adam. Welcome back. You are still welcome, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here tonight. We're talking about the movie Late Night with the Devil. If you have seen this and you've had experiences with it, let us know, please. Hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you.
Neighbors and all.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
Welcome.
So,
this was I'm a fan of found footage. The Blair Witch was something that took the nation. Snotted all over the nation, and then some
old
great
snot
stuff
bubbles.
spawned because of it. We had a lot of low budget type films that kind of came out, so it's not everyone's cup of tea. This one was a nice twist where it had production value to it, because it's a behind the scenes of a live broadcast, as well as a documentary of sorts on the show itself and the host and his connections. And this was fun. I love the deep dive stuff when it came to some of the occultism that had to do with this movie. It kind of breaks the fourth wall a bit. The Grove, the owl, all of these things are a conspiracist dream, as well as some real footage out there of some strange things going on in the woods of California. But hey, we all knew that.
well, it's funny is I had never heard all of the behind the scenes tinfoil hat theory kind of stuff, and you let me in on that, and I found that very,
It's a
very
rabbit hole.
interesting.
It's a rabbit hole of some weird occultism.
Yep.
And so the touching on that in this movie, I kind of took it over that notch of like, oh,
Yes.
wild.
And I like the fact that they kind of played it very softly at first, and then the longer the movie goes, the more you realize this is really the whole reason this is going on.
Right.
And not to, well, shit. This movie came out long enough ago. We can spoil it.
Come on, we can stream it right away. It's on Hulu, I think, right now.
Yes. So Jack Delroy is the host of a Johnny Carson, David Letterman style late night TV show.
In direct competition with Johnny Carson.
Yeah, which I thought was a great touch that,
Nice
you know,
little
he's
swing on it.
been, his whole career striving to take that number 1 spot away from Johnny and has never really even been able to do it, even though he's gotten close a few times. Um, and, his wife, who was played by, uh, uh, Geor Georgina Hagg, is
Yeah,
that
Haig.
pronounced correct?
Yep.
Haig?
Haig. Yep.
Egg. Sh she had a very small screen time,
Yeah.
but her role was very large into the overall arc
Yeah.
of this story.
The love of his wife is the driving force behind where we go with the darkness that is, Jack Delroy and his quest for fame and his quest to come back and make it big again because he sacrificed it all, maybe literally.
But yeah, yeah, and you come to find out that that's actually what may have happened there. Um, the special effects in this movie, for the most part, were, very nice, solid in-camera effects, which Chris
Yes.
and I both love.
Yes.
The special effects that were CGI left a little bit to be desired, but
Went a little overboard. I get it. I get it. But practical effects, the camera tricks, of what you would see on late night live,
yeah,
with things happening off script to where cameras are sweeping, but then coming back, snapping back at what they're looking at. So there was a quick sleight of hand in this movie, that hid the. I mean, you have the medium come out, and the medium is talking to the spirits, and leading him along, and then he's contacted by a spirit, and
a real
a
spirit.
real
Yeah,
spirit, and it kind of whispers some hints through the movie that it's connected to Jack, and a warning of sorts that this final show, that he's putting on, needs to stop. And we get that foreshadowing through the whole movie with his co-host, until his co-host is like, "You, I'm out," and
yeah.
he didn't quite get out quick enough. But
No, and the I was trying to explain to my wife without going into detail. So, if you guys don't see Mar in the chat tonight, because she can't do religious horror, and I respect that. So I was trying to explain to her what this story really was, and I said it's really a story about a man whose drive for fame and success is um, beyond. He goes beyond what anyone else would do in excess to have success, and what happens when you don't temper those things.
yeah,
I
uh,
think that's the
it's a
way
good
I
way to
saw it
explain it.
anyway.
Yeah, definitely. It is. It's the limits you would go to, and what he went through.
Hmm.
It basically plays out to his a successful show. He does really well. The numbers are a little less than Carson. He comes close, but he's always in that race. However, people love him. His wife loves him. They have that bond. They're like the first family of TV. And she gets the big C, and of course, driving those ratings, she shows up on the show to talk about their love, and it's sad, and it's overplayed for success. It was
Hmm.
his highest rated episode,
Yep.
and she passes away, and he rolls into the funk of a struggling human being, that's faced such loss. And here we are. We roll into this show as the show of a lifetime. New producer. We got the band back together.
Yeah.
And we have
Quite
this
literally.
psychiatrist that knows a little girl that has the demon in her, if not the devil himself.
Yes, and she was fantastic in this role. Her name was, Laura Gordon. She was she Alright, not only her, but the whole aesthetic of this movie made me feel like I was watching late 70s, early
Oh
80s
yeah.
television, late night television.
Hmm.
They killed it. The wardrobe, the lighting, the staging,
The
everything. I
smoking in
was just like,
between sets.
ah, yeah,
It is. It was great. And it's all about bringing this woman on that says that she can communicate with the devil, that is within this little girl, and that she's working to rid her of it as a psychiatric disease, as a mental illness, more
yes,
so than the devil itself. And of course, we have our skeptic, that all these late night talk show hosts, you step into something weird, you have the skeptic come on, and he's there to debunk this and show that if you can prove anything paranormal, I have a check for $1 million for you. And that's what I'll do, is I'll try to debunk this possession. And let me
yes.
tell you, it starts creepy. It starts small, like the eyes.
It
Uh,
really does start
it
small.
builds, and nobody's paying attention to it, other than like, ooh, she's creepy. Ooh, she's talking kind of weird. But there's hints of just that little bit to make you uneasy. That little bit of uncanny valley when she starts with her face, and the you see the color drain, and you see the veins kind of come through. It's a lot going on in just a little space, and it made it so creepy.
Oh, it was this girl who played this uh Linda Blair s character
Yeah,
was so good at
definitely.
this. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I remember in this scene, the look that she had on her face sold it so
A lot of
well.
moments where she is the innocent little girl,
Yep,
and she's also the devil inside of a little innocent girl, and is very well aware of the fact that he is the devil
yep.
inside of a little girl.
And it's really funny that, like I said, I was 3, 4 times watching this total, and the little things that you kind of miss or selectively overlook with
Mhm.
her, like the fact that at one point she uses, um, Jack's wife's voice,
Yeah,
and it was little because he's like, "Well, we're in between sets, right, or whatever, it's time to make ourselves look beautiful again."
yeah,
And the little girl looks at him, and just real quickly, his wife's voice come out, and she goes, "Well, don't I look beautiful already, Jack?"
right.
And I was like, "Whoa,
And and
damn, what
and
what
even
was
he
that?"
does. Yeah, yeah. There's some good moments in this. That it starts off with the medium, where of course it's like I hear a John. We fish the crowd. We find somebody. Does he or does he not speak to the spirit of this woman's family member who's no longer with them? He leaves them with a little bit of peace, and then something takes over his head, just like fingers in the brain. And the name's Minnie. The name's Minnie. The name's Minnie.
Yep,
And nobody knows. But come to find out, it was only a pet name known between Jack and his wife. And you can see one clip of a past episode. I think it was the C episode, where he whispers in her ear, and you can see he whispers Minnie.
Minnie.
And that's the medium's first touch with um, the paranormal, is with Jack's wife. His next bout with the paranormal wasn't the fingers in the brain wife. Much better that way. It's the spewing of black tar
Something.
out of
Yeah.
everything. um, when the demon grabs hold of him and basically has his way with them, sends him off, and they find out mid-show he is no longer with us.
Yeah, and it's funny, I love it when Chris go not Chri when the skeptic was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, you mean he blew it?" He's like, "No, I mean he's dead."
he's dead. Yeah, like, and he's just blowing it off like it was a trick the whole time, the whole time. because you could tell the great Christo is, he's fishing, and he plays off of the people's emotions and your facial expressions, and that's where it starts. And he wants to prove that so bad that he's just like, yeah, that was this, and he had the ink up his arm and came out his nose. I don't know.
It was real reminiscent of watching some of those psychics that were on TV for a while.
Oh yeah,
They'd be in the crowd and it'd be like, I feel someone blah blah with the letter D, and someone would go, oh, my Uncle Doug just died or whatever, and you're just sitting there going, but that's the stick that the shtick that he did
yeah.
until the actual spirit grabbed a hold of him and was like, no.
Yeah, you want to talk
No.
to non-living entities? Here's your one and only go. And oof. And
I'm a firm believer not to mess with that kind of crap. I did the whole Ouija board thing once in my life. I'll
mhm,
never do it again. Uh,
can be
I'm a
creepy.
firm believer that you can open up yourself to things that you shouldn't. And this movie, wowzer.
It opens those doors that you feel are out there that should stay closed and locked. And no, no.
No.
Right. And when like
Nine.
you see you read an article that says archaeologists have dug up a ring from 2,000 years ago, and you're like, put it the back, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't you see what's going on? Put the ring back, dude.
This goes under the same grave reviews warning categories as
Yeah.
don't read scripts in a foreign language that looks like it might be printed on skin. It's a bad idea.
No, it's not good.
Bad
It's not
idea.
good at all. Yeah. Mustn't read from the book.
Nope.
So and we roll on to where it's they have these moments, and this devil starts speaking truths to Jack. And he's in and out until like, and they have this to where, oh, I can always put the demon back, like, boop, you boop the devil on his nose and he just goes in the corner for a minute. No, he just pretends to go on the corner for a minute, you dummy.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
you really do get the feeling that Lily and Mr. Wiggles are working together.
why do you call him Mr. Wiggles? Because he gets in my brain and wiggles.
He wiggles his way in, and then he
Well,
wiggles his way out.
that doesn't sound good at all. Kids, don't play with Mr. Wiggles.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So we have the first time that our doctor Ross, June Ross,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, June Ross, brings Mr. Wiggles out.
Right.
And the chair levitates and the
Yeah.
voice and the eyes, and so well done. So well done. And I liked it because they didn't go so far over the top, and they allowed themselves enough room to step up in horror.
You
The,
get a lot out of a little, if
uh-huh.
it's done right. And
Yep.
and it's what was great, I thought, was having Carmichael, the former, medium, I think, or
Magician,
and skeptic, all around
illusionist,
skeptic.
illusionist.
I know every trick in the book. So I love the fact that he's immediately trying to debunk it. You got speakers, good job with the speakers, the
Mhm.
levitating, I didn't see the harness. And, he's got reasons, and he's shooting him out because in his head, this isn't real.
Yeah, nothing's real.
I
Right.
said
Right
I
now.
would give a ton of money to people if they could prove it. And nobody's been able to prove it. It's been all this time. He gets a little too cocky, I think.
Yeah.
But he's able to explain it off. And there's a lot of people that are like, I don't know if you can explain it off. I love the assistance, like through the whole show. Like, boss, can I talk to you? Hey, boss, you got a minute? Till finally he's like, yo, we need to talk.
Yeah,
You
you're a
stop
good
bringing
dude.
creepy
Stop
Mr.
this.
Yeah, Mr. Wiggles girl. She's got to go. We're done with the show. We're not doing this. None of us are comfortable with this. The guys in the band, we want out. This is crazy. This is
People are
demonic.
leaving.
Yeah,
He
this
said,
is
cast and crew are leaving.
right.
You know, and then our skeptic tries to prove that it's all done with mass hypnosis. And
Right.
this was a cool scene.
Nice.
Very well done. It was practical effects. It was um,
The worms
just
crawling out of them, and
just gross enough,
a
right?
little bit of body horror. Just that little bit of body horror.
Mhm.
And supposedly almost the whole audience was tricked into seeing this man have
Yep.
worms come out of him. And I guess,
Excuse
other
me.
than I think there was like a handful of people that raised their hand that didn't see anything. But even they shut up and let the thing go on because everybody around them supposedly saw it.
Yeah.
And it was just to prove that you might have a couple people that didn't see it, but they'll question themselves enough to wonder if they should have seen it.
And then they get the hook, line, and sinker, which is, well, you can't hypnotize the camera, so
Right.
let's roll it back and see
Mhm.
what really happened.
And
And
at
they
this
showed it.
Yeah,
Go
but at
ahead.
this point, I love the fact that Mr. Wiggles is coming through. He's like full time. Now, Mr. Wiggles is getting a little annoyed with the guy that keeps saying that I'm not real.
Uh-huh.
And when it plays back, you can see in the eyes that light of, oh, he's trying to get me. I'll show him. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead, go
Yeah.
ahead,
And then all of a
show your
sudden,
tricks.
the tape that's playing is all of a sudden it's getting the little static to it
Yeah.
and he's like, wait a minute, what is that? Um, so Lily, right, or Mr. Wiggles,
Mm,
literally says, well, Jack, if what he did was proven to be fake because of watching the tape,
right,
let's watch the tape of mine and we'll see if it was real.
right.
And that's when the shit hits
We
the
The
fan.
whole show just becomes a nightmare.
Yes.
I mean, we just got everything going on. There's blood, there's guts, there's gore, there's people freaking out. All while this little girl is just there orchestrating it all.
And when Gus's head just
Oh,
went
yeah,
just
but you feel
twisted.
bad too because he wanted out of there, and he was like, "I'm a
Yeah.
religious man, and I don't want this," and
Yep.
he didn't
And
make it out.
and
And
he starts doing the exorcist chant, the power of
Mhm.
Christ compels you with this cross. And it
Yeah,
literally his head just goes
find the right one. Yeah, he's over with. Yeah, and we boil up to this moment of um our demon coming out. And
Yes.
we both agreed that this is the one part that kind of pulled us a little bit out of the movie. I like it now. I'm cool with it in there.
I am too, but when I first watched it, I was pulled
Immediately,
out. Now
it was one of those like we went Technicolor explosion of a owl, praying mantis. I'm not quite sure what's coming out of that poor little girl's head,
I don't
but
either.
it was in super Technicolor, like don't look directly at the light,
Yeah.
kind of thing, and proving that she's real, and you kind of get the essence of all of this was this poor little girl was part of a satanic cult
Yeah.
that brought the devil to earth, brought him to this plane, and it's connected to the grove and the night owls, the secret sect that our lovable host was a part of, and very cool story, except for that whole
Yeah.
what the hell's going on.
And
Pretty
and
wild.
I also like the fact that the demon's name was Abraxas, which
Breakfast.
is where the name or the term abracadabra came from. So when they use that a couple of times in the film, especially when the skeptic gets it, I was like, yes.
Yeah, and it's basically you find out that poor Jack, with his success and his wife loving him so much, knowing she wanted him to be successful, and she was in such pain to sacrifice me, take put me out of my misery, but also in this cult, he uses the dagger that basically calls forth this whole mess. He sacrificed his wife for everything, the love of his life, and you hear cops in the distance. It's pretty wild. It was a good take on that whole found
Yes.
footage. It's a nice way to put. It's nice to see the fresh stuff. I love paranormal activity. I was mesmerized staring at a screen with nothing happening for an hour and a half. Pretty much.
Just to catch the little stuff that's
Catch a
going
little
on in the
bits. They mean
corners.
so much more. So I was a fan of that. This was a great twist on that found to where you were able to get that production value, but
Yep.
still feel like you're in real life. It's an IRL type stream.
Yep. I agree. And when, at the end, which again, we're spoiling here, so everyone knows if you haven't seen it. So you might want to skip ahead a minute or so.
What
At the end, when he sacrifices his wife with the dagger, and then it switches over, and he's actually killing the demon with the dagger.
yeah,
It shows, in my mind, and I could be wrong, so you may have other opinions, but it shows that he took the choice to, because he wasn't expecting to have to sacrifice his wife, right?
right,
That he gave up and said, "You know what? This isn't worth it," and he used it to stop the demon.
right.
So it's like he sacrificed the first time to get where he
Yeah,
was, and he sacrificed the second time to
right.
do away with it.
Because you're left thinking that he's gonna be put away forever as a murderer, and his name will be buried in history.
Yep.
So,
And
yeah,
so at this scene, when the camera pulls back and all the dead bodies are around,
mhm,
um, next time you see this, pay attention to the assistant, the one that had his head twisted.
yeah,
It is so surreal looking for his body to be laying in one direction and his head to be looking in the
right.
other.
And
It's a really well done thing. And
back to
one
that
thing we
practical
skipped
effect.
over that I really thought was worth mentioning is that as soon as the skeptic realized that this was a real thing, he dropped to his knees and swore himself to Satan, trying to save his own ass.
Right,
And that's
right.
when she turned around and he pulled the check out, and then she turned around and went, "Abracadabra," and the check lit on fire. And that's what I was like,
Poof.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Again, we thought some great acting in here. Funny that Jack Delroy, the actor that played him, David Dastmalchian,
Yes, that's a strange
yes,
pronunciation.
has never done horror before. This was his first horror movie, and he wasn't quite sure what to do. He came off great. I think maybe not knowing what to do added to that
I
spots
agree.
of where everything went awry. It was great job.
I agree.
Cambridge Lily,
Wholeheartedly, I agree.
Lily, that kid pulled off some great moves as far as just with the eyes alone to be able to creep you out.
Oh, and she did such a great, she was awesome in this. I walked away from this really with praise for the doctor, for Jack, and for Lily. I thought all three of them did such a fantastic job.
Definitely. Yeah, and it was. I mean, I'm not sure what the production cost of this movie was. Made 15 at the box office, and it was immediately just streaming on Shutter. And if you had a Shutter subscription, it was a fun movie for 2024.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a gem because I went into it. We'll see, because it's that Exorcist thing, man. The Exorcist hit a certain way, and
Yep.
there's a lot to try to play off the Exorcist. Some are pretty decent and it can get you, and some just feel old hack. And it's you have to lighten that story and you have to make it their own. And this one really did it.
I I I
The
think what made this work for me is it was different, a different approach than I'd ever seen before.
yeah,
And the fact that, like you said, Jack wasn't playing this as a horror star. He was playing it as a guy who was mourning his wife and who was struggling to be a late night talk show host,
yep,
and all the baggage that came with it just happened to be this horror. And I think it
yeah,
worked very, very well.
yeah. Great movie. Like I said, especially for streaming and being on Hulu. Uh, yeah, it's totally worth a watch. And it's rewatchable. I've seen it 4 times now, and I
Yeah.
was gonna watch it a fifth time because Kelly wanted to watch it, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then we didn't get a chance,
Has
so
she not seen it yet?
she has not seen it yet, and we
Oh,
will watch it
you
because
you have to
this is
tell
a
her
good
she has
one.
to reach out and let me know after she watches it.
Definitely,
I
definitely.
w I would love to know what she thinks.
Same with
So,
everybody in the chat. Let us know what you thought about
absolutely.
this movie. We're gonna, since we viewed it and we reviewed it, now we get to rate it.
Let's get it done.
Well,
Where
starting
would
off
you
with
put
well,
this
well,
one?
starting off from a 1 to 10, what would you give this movie? As far as rating the movie itself before
It's
our
not a
stats.
perfect movie. It's really not.
No,
But man, it's close. Um, you know that my top 2 on our shit list are almost perfect and perfect, right?
right, absolutely.
Um, this is not that, but, um, 1 being a miserable dredge that I'm angry that I watched,
Angry,
10, you know, just goes way beyond the horror genre and
yeah,
everyone needs to see it.
definitely.
5 hits all the marks. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm thinking this one is an 8.5, close to 9. Um, if not for the Technicolor demon, I would have rated this a strong 9. So
Yeah,
this is an 8 to me. It's an
an
8
eight.
movie that could have been
Okay,
a 9. And I think I told you my point of view.
yeah.
Instead of the Technicolor demon, I would have had the girl just float off the ground and
Mm-hmm.
turn into an upside down cross position
Right.
with the electric stuff going,
Yeah.
and just use that look that she had. It would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah. It would have been
That would have been me. That would have been my thing. But anyway,
absolutely.
what about you, Chris? I'm at an 8. What do
I'm
you
right
think?
up the same line of thinking. This was it did first time brought me out of it. Like I said, the second time I'm cool. I was ready for it. It didn't pull me out. Um and I realized it works. It does in the end. I just
It
think
does.
the initial watch through gets a little goofy for me. But not perfect because of that. But seriously, I was right there with you saying, had that been a little different, maybe a hard 9, I'm going to give this an 8.5 because I really liked it. I thought, like I said, great, great perspective change on a couple of, you know, great stories to tell. Um,
Yep.
the possession, the underground doings of the rich elite in California, and the found footage in a different take. All of
Yeah.
those was just skewed a little bit to where fun movie, definitely a great movie that I got to stream almost immediately. So worth it. 8.5.
I think I'm going to ask a simple question, and that's going to be, are we talking top 10 or top 5?
Yeah. See.
Because I'm thinking that we're in that range pretty
Oh,
close.
I'm with you on this one. Definitely a top 10. Um,
Okay. Well, let's go to top 10 and then we
let's
can
go to
go from
top
there. So
10.
we know for sure that um
It's better than
any of these.
Gingerbread Man. Definitely better than Sharknado. Um, absolutely. definitely better than I'd say Wolf Cop. Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
better than Wolf Cop.
I'm thinking that we start somewhere around 10 and
We
go
could
from
start
there.
10.
Or we'll
Yes.
put it just outside the top 10.
Yeah. Throw in about
Uh,
13. Where are we at 13?
let's see here.
Okay, so 12 Tucker and Dale, 11 Shaun of the Dead.
Whew.
We start getting into some bigger names where we were serious about ranking these because they're near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah, so
When we start
my
hitting the
question
top
is
13.
it
We're from 8 to 12 there is some solid runs to try to
it
bust into.
really is. So
Because
my
Cabin in
question
the
is,
Woods hit every mark of every horror trope in a way that works so well, fun, gory, fantastic. Tucker and Dale versus Evil, belly laughs, side stitches
yeah,
and Alan Tudyk. You can't go wrong with Alan.
can't go wrong with Alan Tudyk. I'm thinking, when I was like, you know what, this is gonna be top 10, but I'm thinking,
Like I said, 13. I said throw it in 13. I think I might be about 13.
I'm thinking 14, and I'll tell you
Okay.
what.
Pet
Pet
Cemetery.
Cemetery is a Stephen King classic.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
I know this is a better movie than Mother's Day, although I loved Mother's Day and I loved Dawn of the Dead. Oh my God, this list is going to be the death of me.
Yeah. And plus, I mean, you got Fred Gwynn.
Yeah.
keep the kid away from the road. He's just this wise old Jimmy Stewart-esque kind of guy. I mean,
Oh, he's so good.
it's Hermit Munster, crying out loud.
All right, so
yeah,
we're saying
I say 14.
Shaun
Man.
of the Dead, Tucker and Dale, Pet Cemetery, and then Late Night with
I'd
the
say
Devil.
Late Night with the Devil because we do hit better than Mother's Day, and I like that one as far as the story goes. So right ahead of Mother's Day, I'm good. I would put it there.
Man,
Because
it's
we're heavy
ahead of
hitters
some.
right here.
Yeah, and that puts it ahead of some
solid movies.
great movies. Train to Busan, Dog Soldiers, even Zombievers. That's some tight movies,
some good
right?
movies there. This one I think had what it took to get right there.
I agree.
So
I agree.
it's with good company, I think, in the top 20.
I agree with you. And so as we like to say, once we get to that point, we're going to just go it's
Lock
there.
it in.
It's
Lock it
there.
in.
We're locking it in.
Locking it in
Late
unless
Night
one of us
with
gets
the
a bug up our
Devil.
butt and says, you know what? I'm using
All
my
right,
veto
ladies and
power.
gentlemen, there are at least 15 people that have been watching tonight. We thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Don't forget to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so we know when we post some things. And if you enjoy what we're doing, please share with your friends and family. Let them know that we're just a couple of goofy guys who love horror and love laughing about it and having a good time. Chris, is there anything you'd like to say to everyone before we sign off tonight, sir?
I would like to start off with, we had said at some point, wouldn't it be cool to see 50 movies on there? And then wouldn't it be cool to see 500 movies on that shit list? It's getting hard just past 50. So yeah, I like it. So that being said, yeah, we're pushing towards 100 now. We hit our 250 subs. Our friends, we're getting stuff together. I'm shipping stuff to Alan, hopefully this week, so where we can get stuff out into the mail to our winners. Thank you. Like Alan said, share that along. Like LG put in the live chat, the bio.link/graverev, where you can find links to all of our socials, our Insta, our TikTok, because it's still up for now. And we've got X, Twitter. We call it Twix because it's the best of both worlds. And Facebook, email, and our merch store where there's some great stuff. I have a cart full of stuff. I'm waiting for LG to be like, okay, go ahead. Because I love the shirts. I love the two-sided shirts. So check all of that stuff out. Drop us a line in any one of those socials. I did get a couple uh, excuse me, suggestions for movies. In the past, somebody reached out on TikTok, said, "Hey, I was in this movie. You want to check it out?" So that made the list. We'll be throwing that around at some point. So yeah, reach out to us. Let us know what you think. Um,
Absolutely.
and till then, we meet again on a Thursday night for Thursday Night Frights. Stay spooky, friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much for joining us. Next week, Thursday night on Thursday Night Frights. We're going to take a lighter approach this week, and we're going to watch one on Netflix. It's a free one if you guys have Netflix.
Yep.
Fun movie called The Babysitter. Should be a good time. Where will it land on the shit list? What kind of star rating will Chris give it? We don't know, but until then, you can't review that movie with us until you view it. So watch the movie, and may your nightmares be groovy. Have a great night, everybody.